The Allan House glowed like a dream under the October Austin sky. Fairy lights dripped from 200-year-old pecan trees, mason jars flickered on every table, and the air smelled of jasmine and barbecue smoke drifting in from down the street. I stood in the carriage house doorway in a champagne sequin dress that had taken 3 bridal boutiques and one very persuasive Delaney to find watching the gravel driveway for headlights that never came. Nolan squeezed my hand. "They'll show," he whispered, but his voice carried the same doubt now living in my stomach. At 6:55 p.m., the string quartet switched to our processional song even though there was no procession. At 7:02 Delaney clipboard clutched like a shield gave me the number I'd been dreading: 19. 19 people out of 120 RSVPs. 19, including the photographer bartender and Nolan's little sister who'd flown in from Denver. I forced my face into the smile I use for brand shoots. "Petite but lethal," I said, repeating Delaney's new motto. My voice cracked on the last word. Nolan stepped onto the small stage we'd built under the oaks. He wore the black blazer I loved, sleeves rolled just enough to show the tattoo of Texas wildflowers he'd gotten the day he proposed. He didn't bother with introductions. He just started playing the 3 songs he'd written for me, one for every year we'd been together. His voice floated over the near-empty lawn, low and warm and devastatingly kind. The 19 guests pulled their chairs into a tight half-circle like we were at a campfire instead of the engagement party I'd spent 9 months planning and half my savings executing. Halfway through the second song, Nolan's phone buzzed on the amp. He glanced down, frowned, then tilted the screen toward me without missing a chord. It was Sage's Instagram story. A rooftop at the Fairmont Austin golden hour light, 3-tiered cake shaped like the company logo. My parents stood on either side of my little sister, beaming like they'd invented pride. Dad's arm was around Sage's shoulders. Mom held the oversized scissors for the ribbon-cutting moment. The caption in Sage's signature white text on black background. "So beyond proud of my girl tonight. Senior VP before 28. Some moments are just bigger than others. Number Quinn legacy. Number Forbes under 30. Posted 43 minutes ago. Same night. Same 7 o'clock start time." The guitar string twanged wrong. Nolan recovered instantly, but I felt the note land in my chest like a fist. Delaney appeared at my elbow holding 2 shots of Casa Dragonese. "Drink this, then we smile for the 19 people who actually love you." I downed mine. It tasted like betrayal and agave. I walked the perimeter pretending to check on Centerpiece's phone hidden in my palm. My parents' location dots glowed downtown 6 miles away. I opened the family group chat I'd been removed from 3 weeks earlier, thank God for cousin Becca who still screenshots everything. The last 20 messages were variations of the same lie. "Richard Quinn Dad. Please respect our privacy. Everly and Nolan have decided to postpone indefinitely. We won't be attending tonight. Meredith Quinn Mom, it's been very hard on Sage. Let's rally around her achievement instead. Aunt Claire, sending love to Sage. Uncle Trip proud of you kiddo. Evie will be okay." My vision blurred. Not from tears, from rage, so pure it felt cold. Mateo and Leela, my tequila brand best friends who'd driven in from San Antonio, found me behind the dessert table. Leela wrapped me in a hug that smelled like mezcal and gardenias. "We're getting you drunk after this," she promised. "I'm getting everyone drunk," Mateo added, already signaling the bartender for a round of ranch waters for the entire 19. Nolan finished his set to actual applause, not the polite kind, the kind that happens when people are genuinely moved. He hopped off stage and came straight to me. "We can leave right now," he said quietly. "Drive to Blanco, get married at the courthouse tomorrow, fuck all of them." I laughed, a sharp surprised sound. "And waste this open bar, never." But inside I was cataloging every detail, like evidence: the empty chairs we'd paid chair cover fees for, the custom neon sign that read "Forever starts here" blinking over rows of nothing, the charcuterie tower slowly sweating in the Texas heat because no one was eating it. Delaney climbed onto a chair, cowgirl boots and all, and clinked a spoon against a champagne flute. "Okay, beautiful humans who showed up, we're doing this a little differently tonight. Family isn't always who you're born to. Sometimes it's the 19 weirdos who drag lawn chairs into a circle because they love you more than free booze." Everyone cheered. Someone yelled, "Here, here," I think it was Nolan's sister. Then Delaney pointed at me. "Bride-to-be, get your fine ass up here." I shook my head, mortified. She narrowed her eyes. Everly Quinn, I have cried in your DMs at 2 a.m. about boys. You owe me. So I climbed up beside her. The 19 faces looking back at me were the ones who'd answered my late-night texts, who'd helped me move 3 times, who'd held my hair in college and my heart in adulthood. My throat closed. I spent months planning for 120. I started voice shaky. Turns out, 19 is the perfect number. Someone whooped. Because every single one of you chose us tonight. And that feels a hell of a lot better than obligation. Nolan handed me his guitar pick. Play something angry, he teased. I looked out at the oak trees, at the lights twinkling like they didn't know my family was cutting cake 6 miles away without me. I smiled, the kind that doesn't reach the eyes yet, and said, actually, I'm saving the anger. Tonight I just want to dance with the people who stayed. The quartet struck up Sweet Caroline because of course Delaney had a Neil Diamond contingency plan, and the 19 of us turned the near-empty lawn into the rowdiest, most heartbreakingly joyful dance floor Austin had ever seen. Later, when the last ranch water was gone and the string lights started to blur, Nolan pulled me into the shadows near the carriage house. You okay? He asked. I stared at my phone, still open to Sage's story. The cake was half gone now. My parents were in every photo. No, I admitted. But I will be. He kissed my forehead. Good. Because tomorrow we start making them regret it. Behind us the neon sign flickered once, twice, then steadied. Forever starts here. It just wasn't starting with them. September 12th, 4 weeks before the engagement party. I was on the floor of my East Austin bungalow, surrounded by mood boards and dried eucalyptus, when Mom's name lit up my phone. FaceTime. She never FaceTimes unless it's a performance. Everly, honey. Her face filled the screen, fresh from Dr. Quinn's needle. Yes, that's actually Dad's practice name. The irony is not lost on me. You look tired. Are you sleeping? Translation: you look like you work for a living. I'm good, Mom. Finalizing the seating chart. I flipped the camera to show the chaos. 120 tiny gold calligraphy place cards color-coded by +1 status. She waved a manicured hand. That's actually why I'm calling, sweetheart. We need to talk about the date. I felt it coming, the way you feel a Texas thunderstorm pressure drop, hairs on your arm standing up. Sage just got the call this morning, she sang. Forbes 30 under 30. They're flying a photographer down from New York next week, and the magazine wants the celebration to be the weekend of October 12th. Same weekend as your little thing. My little thing. 9 months of planning, $28,000, and one very understanding fiancé. Mom, we sent save the dates in April. Deposits are non-refundable. She smiled the way she used to when I was 7 and asked why Sage got to take horseback riding while I got hand-me-down ballet slippers. Everly, this is once in a lifetime for your sister. Her company is valued at $2 billion. $2 billion. You're a creative, you understand branding moments. I swallowed. I'm also a daughter who's getting engaged. That's a branding moment too. Silence. Then the soft sigh she perfected in pageants. Honey, be reasonable. Sage has worked so hard. People expect a certain caliber of celebration for this. The Fairmont Ballroom is already booked. Your father pulled strings. Of course he did. We can move your party to November, she continued, as if rescheduling open heart surgery. Or even spring. You and Nolan aren't in a rush. You've been together forever. Forever. Translation: you're already settled, why make a fuss? I heard Nolan's key in the door. He paused when he saw my face. Mom, I'm not moving the date. Her smile froze. Everly. No. This is our night. Sage can have the 11th or the 13th. Or both. I don't care. But October 12th is ours. The screen went black. She hung up. Nolan dropped his guitar case, crossed the room, and pulled me into his lap. What just happened? She wants us to postpone so Sage can have the spotlight. Same day, same weekend. Forbes cover. He laughed once, short and sharp. Of course she does. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. 3 days later my follower count started doing weird things. I gained 4,000 overnight, then lost 800 the next morning. Comments on my latest reel: a cute how we got engaged video Nolan and I filmed at Barton Springs turned ugly fast. At user 512, wait, didn't they break up? At Axty heard she cheated with her photographer, lol. At Truth Hurts, Nolan deserves better than a clout chaser. I screenshotted everything, heart racing. The photographer in question was Mateo, who's been married to Lila for 6 years, and literally cried when Nolan proposed. By the end of the week the rumor had legs. Nolan caught me with someone else, we were on a break, the engagement party was a desperate attempt to save face. My DMs filled with concerned messages from aunts I hadn't spoken to since high school. Then came the text from cousin Becca, my only ally left in the Quinn crew group chat. Becca, heads up. Your dad just posted this. Screenshot dad's comment under Sage's Forbes announcement, post a professional headshot of her in a white power suit, arms crossed, Austin skyline behind her. Dr. Richard Quinn. Couldn't be prouder of our only daughter killing it. Some people are just built different, daughter. Only. The words sat on my chest like a cinder block. I called him. It went straight to voicemail, his office line, the one he never ignores. I called mom. Same. Nolan found me on the porch an hour later, knees to chest, watching the bats come out from under Congress Bridge like nothing was wrong with the world. They're not just choosing her party, I said, voice flat. They're erasing us. He sat beside me quiet for a long time. Then let them try. That night I posted a simple grid photo, Nolan's hand on my thigh, my new ring catching the porch light. Caption: October 12th is still happening. Can't wait to marry my favorite human. Within 10 minutes, Sage commented, daughter, so happy for you guys. The emoji felt like a slap. 2 days later, the first RSVP regrets rolled in. Aunt Claire, so sorry darlin'. Family obligation that weekend. Uncle Trip. Something came up with the lake house. Rain check. Delaney called them the Sage migration. By the end of the month, 60 people had flipped. Deposits lost $18,400 and counting. I kept waiting for my parents to call and fix it. They didn't. Instead, on October 1st, Mom finally texted, not called, texted. Meredith, hope you understand. This is bigger than one night. Love you. No apology. No acknowledgement of the lies spreading like wildfire through every Austin group chat, from country club to CrossFit. I stared at the message until the screen went dark. Nolan took the phone from my hand, deleted the thread, and pulled me into bed. They think if they make it small enough it won't count, he said against my hair. I laughed, bitter and small. They're about to learn the internet loves an underdog. Outside 6th Street hummed with Thursday night energy. Inside I started planning a war I never asked to fight. October 12th was still 30 days away. And I had never been more ready to burn the whole thing down politely, publicly, and in perfect bridal makeup. October 11th, 9:17 a.m. My phone rang with a number I hadn't saved since 2018. Birdie cell, do not ignore. I picked up on the third ring, still in yesterday's sweatpants, mascara crust in the corners of my eyes. Everly June Quinn. Grandma Birdie barked sharp as a firecracker. Turn on the damn news. You're the lead story on KVUE and they're calling it Austin's real-life Succession. Pack your bags, baby girl. We're going to war. I laughed once, a cracked sound. Birdie, I'm already dead on the internet. Dead women don't get even, darlin'. Live ones do. I just got off the phone with the silver bullets. We've got 12 retired society reporters with nothing but time grudges and unlimited Verizon minutes. Operation Truth Serum starts now. I could hear ice cubes clinking in what I knew was her morning Bloody Mary. Be here by noon, bring Nolan and that wedding girl with the mouth. We're having a war council. By 11:52 I was pulling into Sun City, Georgetown in Nolan's pickup, Delaney riding shotgun, live streaming the whole thing for content transparency. Birdie waited on the front porch of her villa in a hot pink tracksuit, oversized sunglasses, and a visor that read retired, not expired. Inside, the living room looked like NORAD for octogenarians. 3 folding tables, 6 corded phones from 1993, 2 ancient fax machines humming, and a whiteboard titled Liars and Cowards. 11 other silver-haired women in various states of leopard print and orthopedic sneakers were already on calls. Everly Birdie crushed me into a hug that smelled like taboo perfume and vengeance. Meet the bullets. She rattled off names like a roll call from hell. Doris Former, Austin American statesman, Gossip Queen. Marlene ran the church prayer chain like the CIA. Pat still had every mayor's home number. And sweet little June, who looked like Mrs. Claus but once got a governor impeached with one leaked memo. Doris waved a legal pad. We've divided the family directory into quadrants. North Austin, South Austin, Lake Travis, and the Traders in Westlake Hills. We're hitting them old school. Birdie slapped a stack of neon yellow flyers on the table. The truth about October 12th. Meredith Quinn and Nolan Harper are getting married. They were never broken up. Certain family members lied to you. Show up tomorrow at the Allan House anyway. Free tequila shots for truth tellers. The silver bullets. Delaney squealed. This is the most unhinged gorgeous thing I've ever seen. Pat was already at the fax machine sending the flyer to every country club, church office, and plastic surgery waiting room in Central Texas. June had taped one to the windshield of Dad's Tesla in the Barton Creek Country Club parking lot. Security footage was already on the neighborhood Facebook group. Birdie poured 4 fingers of tequila into a coffee mug that said "World's Okayest Grandma" and handed it to me. Drink. Then listen. She opened her MacBook Air rose gold bedazzled case and pulled up a Google Doc titled Phase 2, Public Humiliation Texas Style. 1. Silver bullets phone tree. Every aunt, uncle, and cousin gets a personal call before 8 p.m. tonight. 2. Flyers go up at Heb Whole Foods and every Pilates studio in Westlake. 3. Anonymous tip to Austin Chronicle Society page. Doris still has the editor on speed dial. 4. Hashtag number show up foreverly launches at 6 p.m. sharp. Delaney raised her hand like we were in class. I'm handling the pretty part. We're turning 19 guests into the most photographed micro-wedding Austin has ever seen. I've got vendors begging to donate after that bathroom clip. She opened her iPad. Mood board titled Petite but Lethal. Asterisk, arch of dried pampas grass, the size of a small house donated by a florist, whose own mother-in-law pulled the same crap. Asterisk, neon sign changed from "Forever Starts Here" to "We Showed Up." Asterisk, dessert table replaced by a 3-tiered cake of lies, each tier labeled with a rumor dumped, crazy, postponed. Asterisk, tequila luge carved into the shape of the state of Texas. Nolan, who'd been quiet the whole time, finally spoke. I'm adding one thing. He pulled out his phone and texted his band. Tomorrow night, instead of 3 acoustic songs for an empty lawn, I'm playing a full set. Live streamed. Every song I've ever written about choosing your own damn family. Birdie raised her mug. To the 19 weirdos who already RSVP'd yes, and the hundreds more who are about to feel real stupid. By 4 p.m., the bullets were in full assault mode. Marlene got Aunt Claire on the phone and put her on speaker. Claire, honey, did you really believe Everly got dumped, or were you just scared of missing Meredith's lobster tower at the Fairmont? Claire burst into tears and re-RSVP'd yes on the spot. Pat faxed the flyer directly to Dad's office printer. His receptionist called Birdie in a panic. Mrs. Quinn, there are 50 pages of bright yellow paper everywhere. Birdie just said good. Frame 1. At 6:03 p.m., Delaney hit post on the new invite graphic, a photo of me and Nolan kissing under the Allan House Oaks text overlay in hot pink. Tomorrow. 7 p.m. The Allan House. 19 became 190 real quick when y'all found out the truth. Come fix your RSVP, tequila's on us. Number show up for Everly. By 8 p.m., my phone was exploding with texts. Aunt Claire, I'm bringing my famous queso. I'm so sorry, sugar. Cousin Mason flying in from Denver. Just changed my flight. Old sorority big, we're caravanning. 12 of us. At 10:47 p.m., Birdie poured one last round, looked me dead in the eye and said, tomorrow night, baby girl, we don't just have a party. We have a reckoning. And we do it in heels. I clinked my mug against hers, tears and tequila mixing on my lips. Let's burn their narrative to the ground, I said. Birdie grinned, all dentures and danger. That's my granddaughter. Outside Georgetown, crickets chirped like they knew tomorrow Austin would never be the same. October 12, 7:02 p.m. The Allan House lawn looked like the Met Gala, and a Texas honky-tonk had a baby and gave it a vengeance budget. 19 had become 93 in 24 hours, then 120 by noon. Then Delaney stopped counting and just started screaming. Vendors who'd once begged for a tag in my stories were now begging to donate anything that would fit through the wrought iron gates. A florist from Dallas overnighted 2,000 stems of toffee roses because fuck narcissists. A lighting guy who usually does ACL festival dropped 16 moving head beams and a custom gobo that projected we showed up across the Heritage Oak. The cake lady who was supposed to do Sage's Forbes cake cancelled on her last minute and sent us the exact same 3-tiered masterpiece, only now it was iced in blood orange buttercream with the words liars eat last in gold. Dragé. Nolan's band rolled in at 5 wearing black tees that read Chosen Family, back row. They set up under the new neon a 10-foot hot pink scrawl that simply said fuck around and find out. Delaney in a white cowboy hat and sequin blazer ran around with a headset like she was producing the Super Bowl. We are not having an engagement party, she kept yelling into her walkie. We are having a cultural reset. At 7:15 the first cars started parking on West 7th Street. Not just guests, strangers. People who had seen the bathroom clip the flyers, the silver bullets unhinged Facebook posts. They came in cowboy boots and Sundance dresses, phones up ready to witness whatever the hell number Quinn Bowl had become. Across downtown 6 miles and a universe away, Sage's rooftop was lit up like a corporate ego trip. I knew because half of Austin was live streaming both parties at once. Split-screen TikToks were already racking up millions, left side champagne towers and Forbes photographers right side our lawn turning into a riot of love and middle fingers. Nolan grabbed the mic. Feedback squealed, then settled. This one's for everyone who was told their night didn't matter. He hit the opening chord of the song he wrote the day my parents hung up on me. The band kicked in hard drums, thundering off the historic walls. We had cranked every window open and aimed 2 15-inch subs toward the street. Downtown Austin suddenly had a new soundtrack and it was ours. By 8:05 the gates couldn't hold. Delaney just swung them wide and screamed. Let the people in. The lawn went from 120 to easily 300. Fire marshal. We never met him. Someone started passing ranch waters in solo cups. A girl in a University of Texas hoodie climbed the pecan tree with a ring light and live-streamed straight down onto the dance floor. At 8:27 Sage's official party photographer posted a story, a drone shot of the Fairmont rooftop. Perfectly spaced tables, maybe 90 guests total, a few already leaving. Caption: intimate celebration of excellence. 30 seconds later our drone guy donated by a follower who hates gatekeepers sent up his own bird. The split screen that blew up Twitter was brutal. Left Sage smiling too hard in front of a step and repeat that Reed Quinn legacy. Right, 300 people screaming the chorus of Nolan's song back at him, fairy lights strobing me, crowd surfing in my champagne sequin dress while Grandma Birdie stood on a chair waving a neon cowgirl hat like a battle flag. Number Quinn Bowl hit #1 trending in Texas. Then #3 nationwide. Barstool Austin posted a poll. Whose party are you at right now? Allan House. 94%. Fairmont, 6%. At 9:03, the tequila luge arrived, carved into the shape of the state with a giant middle finger where Lubbock should be. The line wrapped around the house twice. Nolan pulled me off the dance floor, sweat-drenched and grinning like the first night we met at a dirty 6th Street bar. Look south, he said, spinning me toward the skyline. 6 miles away the lights on the Fairmont rooftop were dimming early. Here ours were just getting started. Delaney climbed on the bar with a bullhorn. To everyone who changed their RSVP, who drove in from Houston, who flew in from Denver, who walked here from Zilker because you saw a flyer on a telephone pole, thank you for choosing love over lies. The crowd roared so loud I felt it in my ribs. Someone started chanting speech, speech, speech. I took the mic barefoot, now sequins half torn off from crowd surfing. My voice was hoarse from screaming lyrics. 6 months ago, I thought the worst thing that could happen was an empty lawn. Turns out the best thing that could happen was finding out exactly who's willing to fill it when the truth comes out. I looked at Nolan, at Birdie doing the 2-step with a stranger in a Longhorns jersey, at Mateo and Leela passing out tequila like communion. Tonight isn't about who's missing, I said. It's about who showed up. And y'all just turned 19 into the loudest love letter Austin has ever seen. Nolan grabbed the mic from me. One more song. Then we're getting married right now if the bartender will officiate. The crowd lost its mind. Across town, the Fairmont rooftop went dark at 10:15. We partied until the cops showed up at 1:47 a.m., and left after Delaney handed them ranch waters and a slice of liar cake. By sunrise number Quinn Bowl had 11 million posts. The Allan House was on every must-visit list in Texas and vendors were offering us free wedding shit for the next 5 years. We never closed the gates. We just opened them wider. And somewhere downtown, a 3-tiered corporate cake sat melting under fluorescent lights, wondering where everybody went. October 12, 1042 p.m. The Allan House was pure electricity. Nolan's band had just finished the loudest cover of Wagon Wheel in Travis County history. 300 people were jumping so hard the 1,870 seconds floorboards groaned like they might finally give up and join the party. I was on Nolan's shoulders, sequin dress shredded to the thigh, hair a wild mess, screaming the chorus with strangers who felt like family. Then the energy shifted. A ripple moved through the crowd near the gate, phones rising like periscopes. Someone whispered, no fucking way, loud enough for the mic to catch it. Sage. She glided in like she was walking a runway. Nobody invited her to cream silk blouse tucked into high-waist trousers, hair in that perfect middle part, blowout Vogue photographer, trailing 2 steps behind with a camera the size of a small dog. She held a gift bag, white embossed with the Fairmont logo like a shield. The music cut. 300 phones turned in perfect terrible unison. Sage spotted me on Nolan's shoulders and flashed the camera-ready smile she'd practiced since she was 4. Everly, she called, voice pitched high and sweet enough to cut glass. I just had to come say congratulations in person. Family first, right? The photographer started snapping. Flash, flash, flash. Nolan lowered me slowly. My bare feet hit the grass and I felt every eye in Austin on my skin. Sage kept coming, gift bag extended. Traffic was murder getting across town. The rooftop was lovely, but I told Mom and Dad I couldn't celebrate properly without hugging my big sister. She opened her arms. I didn't move. The silence was so thick you could have spread it on toast. That's when Grandma Birdie appeared like a vengeance angel in rhinestones. She snatched the wireless mic from Nolan's lead guitarist, climbed onto a bar stool and planted her hot pink cowboy boots like she was about to rope a steer. Hold up one cotton pickin' minute, Birdie drawled, West Texas thick as sorghum. Let me get this straight, sugar. She pointed the mic at Sage like a sword. You're the same little girl whose mama called my bridge club last week, crying that Everly had a full nervous breakdown because you got promoted. Same one who said Nolan dumped her for cheating and we should all skip this party to protect poor Sage's big night. The crowd inhaled as one organism. Birdie wasn't done. Because Dora's here, she jerked a thumb at a tiny woman in a leopard caftan holding a martini the size of her head. Still has the voicemail. Should we play it on the big screen, darling? Sage's smile flickered. The photographer kept shooting, probably thinking this was the money shot of the century. Birdie leaned forward, eyes glittering. And now you're here with a gift bag and a Vogue photographer, acting like y'all didn't try to bury my granddaughter tonight. Someone in the crowd yelled. Play the voicemail. Another airplay that shit. Sage's face went the color of skim milk. Grandma Birdie, it's not. Birdie cut her off with one raised finger. Baby, the silver bullets have been fact-checking liars since before you were born. We still got receipts. She turned to the crowd. Who wants to hear the truth, from Meredith Quinn's own mouth? The roar was deafening. Phones shot up like fireworks. Sage took one step back. The gift bag slipped from her fingers and hit the ground. A bottle of top-shelf champagne rolled out along with a card that read, "To my favorite sister, sorry about the timing, XO Sage." The photographer, sensing blood, kept firing the shutter. Nolan stepped forward, calm as baptism. You're on private property, he told the photographer. And you're pointing that at my fiancé without consent. Lower it or leave. The guy hesitated, then lowered the camera. Sage tried again, voice cracking now. I just wanted to support. Birdie laughed loud and delighted. Support looks like showing up when nobody else does, sweetheart. Not rolling in at the victory lap with a professional photographer to salvage your brand after your own party flopped. A girl in the front row, UT sorority shirt, obviously live streaming, yelled. How many people were at the Fairmont? Sage 60-70, because there's 400 here, and we're still counting. Sage's mouth opened closed. No sound came out. Delaney appeared out of nowhere with a portable ring light and held it under Sage's chin like an interrogation lamp. Smile, babe. This is going viral. Sage spun toward the gate, but the crowd had closed ranks. Phones formed a tunnel of judgment. Someone started slow clapping. It grew became thunderous. Birdie raised the mic one last time. Let her through, y'all. We don't block exits. We just document them. The crowd parted just enough. Sage walked the gauntlet chin high until the very end when someone whispered loud enough for every mic to catch Forbes 30, under 30, and still can't fill a rooftop. She broke then, just a flash of wet eyes before the cream silk disappeared into the night. The second she was gone, the place erupted. Nolan grabbed me, spun me, kissed me so hard, my feet left the ground. Birdie handed the mic to Delaney, who immediately screamed, "Drop the beat." The band launched into Friends in Low Places and 400 strangers sang every damn word at the top of their lungs, arms around each other, jumping until the earth shook. By midnight, the clip, filmed in crystal clear 4 kelvins by no fewer than 37 people, was everywhere. Caption variations spread like wildfire. When you try to crash your sister's redemption party and grandma drags you to hell in real time. Silver Bullets 1, Nepo Baby 0. Number, Quinn Bowl just entered the Met Gala of family drama. 15 million views in 48 hours. Vogue never ran the photos. Sage deleted her Instagram for 9 days. And somewhere in Westlake Hills, 2 parents watched their carefully curated legacy burn down in 4 kelvins while the rest of Austin danced on the ashes. We didn't close the gates that night. We just turned the music up louder. October 14th, 2 days after the party that broke Austin. I woke up to 1847 unread emails and a ceiling that wouldn't stop spinning. Nolan was already at the kitchen table, face gray, phone on speaker. His manager Travis was mid-sentence from Nashville. Anonymous packet showed up by courier this morning. Photos, medical-looking documents, a whole narrative. They're saying Nolan's got a pill problem, been in and out of rehab, that the engagement is a PR stunt to clean up his image before the album drop. Labels freaking out. They want a drug test by Friday or they're pulling the single. I poured coffee I didn't drink. My own phone started exploding. Subject: termination of contract. Immediate effect. From director at shopveronica.com. Everly. Due to recent public associations that conflict with our family-friendly brand values, we are terminating our influencer partnership effective today. Payment for October deliverables will be withheld pending review. Another one from a jewelry brand I'd worn since 2019. We wish you the best in resolving your personal matters. By noon, the new rumors were everywhere. At Axe Insider, sources close to the Quinn family say Everly terminated a pregnancy last year and Nolan spiraled into addiction because of the guilt. At Truth Serum, Tia confirmed, Nolan Harper missed 3 studio sessions in August. Label insiders say it was rehab. Random burner accounts posted grainy leaked photos, me leaving a Planned Parenthood in 2021 for a routine pap smear, Nolan buying Advil, cold and sinus at 2 a.m. after a red-eye flight. The worst one was a fake medical record with my name and a forged signature claiming abortion plus Xanax prescription. Someone had photoshopped it well enough that half the comments believed it. My father's office released a statement to Page 6 Austin at 2:17 p.m. Dr. Richard and Meredith Quinn are deeply concerned for the well-being of both their daughters during this difficult time. They are working with professionals to ensure everyone receives the support they need. They ask for privacy. No denial. No defense. Just concerned trolling. Delaney barged in at 3 with a bottle of Casamigos and murder in her eyes. They hired Allison and Partners. Top crisis firm in Texas. $50,000 a month to bury you. Nolan hung up with Travis and looked 10 years older. Label wants me in Nashville tomorrow. Random drop, hair and urine. If I refuse, they shelve the album. I laughed until I couldn't breathe. They're trying to kill both our careers in 1 week. Birdie FaceTimed at 4 Bloody Mary in hand, silver bullets visible in the background like the Avengers assembling. Listen up, she said, without greeting. We expected this. Scorched earth is what cowards do when they lose the narrative. We've got Doris on the medical records angle. Forging those is felony level even in Texas. Pat's already got the Planned Parenthood director on speed dial. And June sweet talked a friend at the Travis County clerk. Those records don't even exist. She leaned closer. But they've gone too far. We're done playing defense. October 15th, Nashville. Nolan took the test clean obviously, while I sat in the lobby refreshing brand emails, canceling Christmas campaigns I'd spent months negotiating. At 6:04 p.m. Central, a new anonymous Gmail sent a zip file to every music blogger from here to LA, photos of Nolan leaving a known dealer's house. Actually his drummer's apartment, bank records supposedly showing $40K cash withdrawals, fake, and a forged rehab discharge paper dated August 2023. The label called an emergency board meeting. Back in Austin I got the final blow. An email from my biggest sponsor ever, a baby brand I'd been in talks with for a maternity capsule, pulled out. "We love your content but cannot proceed while these allegations remain unresolved." I closed the laptop, walked to the porch and screamed into a pillow until my throat bled. Delaney found me there at midnight. "They're trying to make us disappear," I whispered. She sat down, lit a cigarette she'd quit 2 years ago, and exhaled like a dragon. "No, babe. They're trying to make us crawl back and beg for forgiveness. That's how this always works with people like them. Destroy the reputation, then offer salvation if you just admit you were the problem all along." I looked at her. "What do we do?" She smiled for the first time all day, slow and terrifying. "We stop asking permission to exist." October 16, 8:00 a.m. Birdie's text came through the group chat, now titled, "Silver Bullets, Final Boss." Doris got the IP address from the fake medical records. Traced to an Allison and Partners guest Wi-Fi. Pat has security footage from Planned Parenthood confirming I was there for a pap smear, not an abortion. Timestamped and notarized. June's guy at the clerk's office is ready to go on record that no such abortion record exists in the state of Texas. Birdie, we go public at noon. Everything, no more reacting. I stared at the ceiling until the sun came up. Then I opened my phone, hit record and posted the video that would either save us or finish us off for good. No makeup. Red eyes. Nolan's arm around me. 2 days ago I started Voice Raw. My parents and their crisis PR team decided that since they couldn't control the story, they'd just burn our lives down. They forged medical records. They lied about abortions and addiction. They tried to kill my career and my fiancé's before we even say I do. I held up the notarized documents one by one. "This is what winning looks like when you refuse to stay quiet." Nolan leaned in. "And tomorrow we're filing criminal complaints. Forgery. Defamation. Whatever it takes." I looked straight into the camera. "You picked the wrong granddaughter to bury." I hit post. Within an hour, Quinn Tapes Part 2 was trending higher than the original party. The brands that dropped me started scrambling into my DMs with apologies. Nashville called Nolan test, came back clean, single back on schedule, emergency meeting cancelled. But the war wasn't over. It had just gone nuclear. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid of the blast. October 18, 4:17 p.m. Westlake Hills, the gated kingdom where every driveway is a flex and the Oaks are older than Texas itself. I parked Nolan's beat-up Tacoma between 2 Teslas and stared at the house I grew up in, limestone glass and cold perfection. The front door still had the same brass knocker shaped like a longhorn. Some things never change. I was wearing jeans and the same hoodie I'd had since sophomore year at UT. No ring light. No filter. Just me, my phone in my pocket, recording audio, and a heart that finally stopped asking for permission. Meredith opened the door in yoga wear that cost more than most people's rent. Her smile froze the second she saw my face. "Everly." One word, like she was tasting something sour. "This is not a good time." "I'm not here for a good time." I stepped past her before she could close the door. The foyer smelled like diptyque, feu de bois, and desperation. Richard appeared at the top of the stairs, still in scrubs from the oar. "What is the meaning of this?" Sage was right behind him, arms crossed, hair still perfect from whatever damage control shoot she'd done that morning. I didn't sit. I didn't take the offered water. I just stood in the middle of their museum living room and hit record. "I'm giving you one chance," I said, voice calm enough to scare even me. "Tell the truth. On the record. Say you lied about the breakup, the abortion, the drugs. Say you paid a crisis firm to forge documents and tank our careers. Say it and I'll consider walking away." Silence so loud I heard the ice maker drop cubes in the kitchen. Sage laughed first, sharp, ugly. You're delusional if you think anyone will believe you over us. Richard tried the disappointed dad tone. Everly, you've embarrassed this family enough. We've already spoken to our attorneys. I looked at him. Good. Mine are waiting for the file. Meredith stepped forward, voice trembling with rehearsed concern. Honey, you're not well. The internet has convinced you. Stop. I held up my hand. Just stop. Sage rolled her eyes. God, here we go with the victim routine. You're a failed wedding planner living off Instagram likes. I'm the one carrying this family's name. Forbes, $2 billion valuation. You're mad because you'll never be me. The words hit like they were supposed to, but they bounced off something new inside my chest. I smiled. You still think this is about who's more successful, Sage? I have more followers crying in my DMs than you have actual friends. Keep the valuation. Richard's face went purple. That's enough. Leave. Now. I didn't move. Say it on the record. Admit what you did. Meredith's mask slipped. You have always been jealous. Always. We gave you everything. You gave me scraps, I cut in. You gave me the consolation prize every birthday, every graduation, every single time the world looked at Sage first. And I still built a life without you. This isn't jealousy. This is consequences. Sage stepped closer, voice venomous. You think your little TikTok army scares us? You're trash, Everly. You always were. That's why no one showed up to your pathetic party until the internet felt sorry for you. I looked at her dead on. They showed up because they saw the truth. You showed up with a Vogue photographer to steal the moment after yours flopped. Who's the trash again? Richard moved toward me like he might actually grab my arm. Nolan's voice flashed in my head. If anyone touches you, I burn the house down with them in it. I took one step back on my own. Get out, he said, low and lethal. And don't come back. You're no longer welcome here. We're cutting you off completely. I laughed. Actually laughed. Dad, I paid my own rent when I was 21. You cut me off the day I refused to let you control me. This is just you saying it out loud. Meredith was crying now, perfect, silent tears. After everything we've done for you. You mean everything you did to me? I turned to leave, then paused at the door. Oh, and the audio's already uploading. Part 3 of the Quinn tapes drops in 10 minutes. 45 minutes of you three screaming at me in 4 kelvins. Enjoy the comments. Sajja lunged. You can't. I was already outside. The door slammed behind me like a gunshot. By the time I reached I-35, the video was live. Title: The Quinn Tapes, Final Episode, Full Confrontation, No Cuts. Description: They told me to leave. So I took the truth with me. 40 million views in 24 hours. The top comment pinned by me. I never needed their money. I just wanted parents who showed up. Turns out I found better ones. I didn't look back at the house in the rear view. Westlake Hills got smaller and smaller until it disappeared completely. And for the first time in 31 years, I didn't feel homeless. I just felt free. October 25th, 1 week after the Quinn tapes, final episode hit 40 million views and refused to leave the trending page. Austin woke up hungover from collective schadenfreude. Sage's company, the unicorn tech darling that had plastered her face on every billboard from Domain Northside to the airport, issued a statement at 8:03 a.m. Following an internal investigation, we have determined that company resources were misused to distribute defamatory materials targeting a family member of an employee. This is a serious violation of our code of conduct and our core value of do the right thing. Effective immediately, Sage Quinn has been removed from her position as Senior VP of Marketing and reassigned to the role of Junior Analyst. A significant portion of her unvested equity has been forfeited. We apologize to those affected and are cooperating fully with any legal inquiries. Translation: 7-figure stock options gone. The golden child was now making $65,000 a year writing SQL reports in a cubicle on the 3rd floor. By lunch, the billboards with her face started coming down. One on South Congress got vandalized overnight with a giant red Sharpie crown and the words 30 under 30, feet of karma. Richard and Meredith Quinn discovered what real social exile feels like in a city that runs on country club gossip and silent auctions. Meredith's name vanished from the board of the Junior League Gala. The chairwoman called personally, we just feel it might be distracting this year. Translation, nobody wants to buy a $10,000 table if the drama is sitting front row. The Austin Country Club's ladies' tennis ladder mysteriously restructured. Meredith went from #4 seed to unranked. Her weekly doubles group changed the WhatsApp name to Westlake Wine and Wine No Drama Allowed. Richard lost 3 VIP patients in one afternoon: a Longhorns booster, a Tex CEO, and the wife of a state senator. All of them suddenly decided to explore other options. His surgical coordinator whispered that the waiting room felt like a funeral parlor, patients canceling consults the second they saw his name on the door. Sage lasted exactly 9 days in the family home after the demotion. On November 3rd, Nolan and I were eating breakfast tacos on the porch when a U-Haul rolled past our house twice. The third time it stopped in front of the Westlake Hills mansion. Sage stormed out in Lululemon and sunglasses, screaming loud enough for the Ring cameras on 3 continents to pick up. "This is your fault," she shrieked at Meredith, who stood on the front steps clutching a monogrammed tumbler like a life raft. "You told me to fight back. You hired the PR firm, you said she'd fold." Richard tried the calm doctor voice. "Sage, lower your voice." "No." She hurled a Louis Vuitton duffel into the truck so hard it bounced. "I lost everything because you couldn't stand her having one night. One single night that wasn't about me." Meredith started crying the pretty way she saved for charity luncheons. "We were protecting the family." "There is no family," Sage screamed. "There's just you two and your favorite daughter trophy. Well, congratulations. You broke it." She climbed into the U-Haul. She was driving the damn thing herself and peeled out tires, squealing on the perfectly paved cul-de-sac. Neighbors filmed from behind their plantation shutters. The video hit Reddit's R Divided by Austin before she reached loop 360. Sage moved into a one-bedroom in Mueller that still smelled like new paint and regret. She blocked her parents on everything, including Venmo. Rumor has it she tried to get her old job back at the startup and was told the junior analyst role was the best they could do given the circumstances. Richard took a sudden sabbatical from the practice. The sign out front now reads, "Dr. Patel, new patients, welcome." Meredith started seeing a therapist who bulk bills because Blue Cross doesn't cover narcissistic collapse. And me. I gained 3,000,000 followers in a week. Brands that dropped me were now offering 6-figure redemption contracts. Nolan's single shot to #3 on Texas radio stations were playing it with the intro, the song that survived family court. Grandma Birdie sent a group text to the Silver Bullets. Phase 3 complete. The kingdom has fallen. Margaritas at my place. Bring limes and petty. I screenshotted it and made it my phone background. One night in late November, Nolan and I drove past the Westlake house on the way to dinner. The Christmas lights were up, half the strands already dead, like even the decorations had given up. There was a single for sale sign in the yard, discreet but unmistakable. Sage's U-Haul was long gone. Meredith's Range Rover sat alone under the porte cochere gathering pollen. Nolan reached over and laced his fingers through mine. "You okay?" he asked. I watched the house shrink in the rearview until it was just another mansion full of ghosts. "I'm better than okay," I said. Because for the first time in my life, the people who were supposed to love me unconditionally had shown their true price tag. And I finally stopped trying to pay it. Some families break you. Others break themselves trying. We just kept building ours louder, brighter, and without a single blood relative who ever asked us to be smaller. The fallout wasn't the end. It was the beginning of everything that actually mattered. May 17th, golden hour on Lady Bird Lake. We kept it small on purpose, 65 chairs on the grassy point where the Colorado bends around downtown Austin. No aisles wide enough for ego, no head table for ghosts. Just wildflowers, the color of sunrise, a 3-piece string trio playing Nolan's songs, and the skyline doing its quiet, perfect applause. I waited under an ancient cypress with the 2 women who actually earned the right to give me away. Jean Harper, Nolan's mom, wore soft blue silk and tears she didn't bother hiding. She kept touching my arm like she was checking I was real. Grandma Birdie rocked a champagne Stetson and a custom suit the color of a Texas sunset. She had a silver flask tucked in her pocket for emergencies and a grin that said she'd already won the war. When the music shifted to the processional, the song Nolan wrote the night of the engagement party, they each took one of my arms. Jean whispered, "I've waited 33 years for a daughter." Thank you for letting me have this walk. Birdie leaned in on my other side. If anybody here objects, the silver bullets are on standby with tasers. I laughed so hard I almost ruined my makeup. We stepped into view. 65 people rose as one. Not a single empty seat. Not one face that hadn't already proven they'd choose us when it was hard. Delaney stood at the front in emerald green officiant stole around her neck cowgirl boots peeking out. Mateo and Leela held the reins. Nolan waited under an arch dripping with toffee roses and pampas grass black suit no tie eyes already red. He lost the ability to breathe when he saw me. The walk was short, maybe 20 steps, but it felt like crossing a continent. From the girl who used to scan every room for her parents' approval to the woman who finally stopped looking. Jean kissed my cheek and placed my hand in Nolan's. Birdie gave him a look that said hurt her and we bury you in these hills, then winked and took her seat in the front row next to the entire Silver Bullet squad, all wearing matching fascinators that read we showed up. Delaney's voice carried over the water. We are gathered today because love is louder than lies. These two wrote their own vows and y'all know they're about to make us cry in 4 Kelvins. Nolan went first. Everly June Quinn, I knew I'd marry you the night you danced barefoot in a half-empty lawn while 400 strangers sang our story back to us. You turned the worst day into the best one just by refusing to shrink. I promised to spend every day making sure you never have to fight alone again. I will always show up on camera and off. Especially on ordinary Tuesdays. Then it was my turn. I looked at him, then past him to the 65 faces who'd flown, driven, Ubered, and in one case paddleboarded across the lake to be here. I used to think family was the people you're born to. I started voice cracking on the first word. Turns out family is the people who stay when the live stream ends. When the algorithm forgets. When there's no more content to be made from your pain. I found Birdie's eyes sparkling with proud tears. It's the grandmother who weaponizes fax machines at 84. It's the friends who turn 19 into 400. It's the mother-in-law who texts you goodnight emojis even when her own son forgets. Jean put a hand over her heart. Nolan, you taught me that love isn't a blood test. It's a choice you keep making when nobody's watching. Today, I choose you. Tomorrow, I'll choose you again. And every day after that I'll choose this family we built out of the people who refuse to let us disappear. I was crying too hard to finish, so I just said the last line into his chest. I can't wait to build a life that's too loud for anyone to ever ignore again. Delaney barely got through I now pronounce you husband and wife, before Nolan kissed me like the world was ending and beginning at the same time. The strings launched immediately into Sweet Caroline Birdie's request and 65 people lost their minds. Someone popped champagne with a saber. Mateo fired the tequila luge shaped like the state of Texas. A drone flew overhead capturing every second. We didn't hire a videographer. We didn't need to. By the time we cut the cake simple vanilla with toffee drip and a topper that read Chosen Family, the livestream Delaney's team setup had already hit 20 million views. By the next morning, 100 million. The clip of Birdie and Jean walking me down the aisle became the most shared wedding moment of the year. 2 weeks later, my agent called. Netflix wants a limited series. Working title, The Quinn Tapes. They're offering 7 figures. A month after that the book deal We Showed Up, a memoir of blood lies and chosen family. I signed both contracts at our new kitchen table, the one Nolan built from reclaimed pecan while he cooked breakfast tacos and our rescue mutt Barton begged for bacon. No parents. No sage. No empty chairs. Just 65 people who became hundreds of thousands who became millions who reminded me every single day. You don't need the family you were born into. You just need the ones who show up when the cameras stop rolling. And mine danced until the stars came out over Ladybird Lake barefoot and loud and gloriously unapologetically ours. May 18th, 1 year exactly from the wedding. The little white house on East 12th had changed. The porch now held a baby swing, a tray of half-chewed teething rings and a chalkboard that read Birdie Joe Harper, 6 weeks old, still undefeated. Inside Nolan was shirtless, guitar slung low, singing an off-key lullaby version of Wagon Wheel while our daughter stared at him like he hung the moon. She had his dark hair and my stubborn chin, and every time she smiled the whole room got warmer. I stood in the doorway watching them, coffee gone cold in my hand, heart so full it hurt. Grandma Birdie's Cadillac pulled up at 10:03 a.m. Sharp. She stepped out in a linen caftan, the color of bluebonnets, oversized sunglasses, and the same silver flask she'd carried to the wedding. "Hand over my great-grandbaby," she announced, "or I'm calling the silver bullets and we're taking her to Vegas." Nolan carefully transferred Birdie Joe into arms that had once faxed death threats to half of Austin. Birdie blinked, then gave Birdie Sr. the biggest gummy grin of her short life. "That's my girl Birdie Cood. Already knows who runs this family." Mateo and Leela arrived next with a cooler full of brisket from Franklin and a bottle of their new rosé tequila. Delaney rolled in last night's glitter eyeliner carrying a diaper bag that cost more than my first car. We set up in the backyard under the pecan tree, folding tables, mismatched chairs, and a kiddie pool already filled for reasons nobody questioned. The smell of smoked meat and sunscreen wrapped around us like Sunday church. That's when my phone buzzed with a name I hadn't seen in 18 months. Sage Quinn. "Hey. I know this is out of nowhere. I'm in Austin for the weekend. Any chance you'd want to get coffee? I'd really like to talk." I stared at the screen so long Nolan looked over my shoulder. "You okay?" he asked quietly. I nodded slow. "Yeah. Just surprised." Birdie the elder read the situation like she reads everything. "You don't owe her a damn thing, baby." "I know," I said. And I did. But something in me had softened. Not forgiveness exactly. More like indifference with better eyesight. I could see her now, small, scared, raised by the same people who taught us love was a limited resource. She just believed it harder. I typed back. "I'm open to coffee. But the table has new rules now. No cameras. No apologies that come with conditions. Just two people and the truth. Let me know if that still interests you." I hit send, set the phone face down, and went back to the people who never made me audition for a seat. By noon the backyard was loud in the best way, Delaney teaching Barton the dog to balance a brisket rib on his nose, Mateo and Nolan arguing over whose turn it was to change the diaper, Lila taking aesthetic photos of Birdie Joe asleep and Birdie Sr.'s arms under the shade of a Longhorn's umbrella. I grabbed my phone, opened Instagram stories, and snapped one photo, all of them sprawled across the grass. Smoke curling from the pit, my tiny daughter's fist wrapped around Grandma Birdie's pearl necklace, Nolan laughing mid-sentence. Skyline barely visible through the trees. Caption: "Chosen family is greater than DNA. Happy Sunday from the people who showed up. And stayed when the views stopped counting." I added the location tag home. Posted it. Then I turned the phone off for the rest of the day. Sage never replied to my text. Maybe she will one day. Maybe she won't. Either way, the table stays set exactly how we like it, loud, messy, full of inside jokes and people who don't need a viral moment to prove they love us. Later, when the sun dipped low and the string lights flickered on, Nolan pulled me into his lap on the porch steps. Birdie Joe was asleep against his chest, tiny breaths, warm and even. "Think we turned out okay?" he asked, mouth against my temple. I looked out at our backyard circus, Grandma Birdie doing a tequila shot with Delaney while Mateo filmed it for content, Leela slow dancing with the dog to whatever song Nolan had left playing on the outdoor speaker. I smiled so wide my cheeks hurt. "We turned out perfect," I said. "Because some families are born. Ours was chosen, fought for, and built one showed up moment at a time." And on quiet Sunday evenings in East Austin, with brisket smoke in the air and a baby who will never have to scan a room for proof she belongs, I know the truth down to my bones. We didn't just survive the fire. We became the light everybody else wanted to stand in. The end.